this was it Friday. This Friday, that will be the 26th. On Friday the 26th, I will be GMing a Pathfinder campaign. I will be using one of the adventure paths by the name of Iron Gods. So this is not my story. This is just something I'm running. It's going to involve several people from this Abandonshare podcast, but also a couple of our other friends. Our friend Dean's going to stream it on his Twitch channel. We will get the link for that because I don't actually know it off the top of my head. But we'll put that in the description. And hopefully you want to come watch us play Pathfinder. That is what we will be doing.
I'm a goblin.
He's a goblin gunslinger who does not speak common.
No.
Oozeman. Water Oozeman.
Water Oozeman Cavalier.
Yes. I have a turtle. Taurus.
You do.
Nice.
Has a speed of 10.
That's a quick turtle.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
Fast enough to kill all of you. You will
I
not
mean,
escape.
one. Yeah, and then we also got I got a human magus offshoot sorcerer type magus instead of a wizard type magus. Got a hobgoblin cleric and a human arcanist with the orc bloodline, making him effectively a half orc.
If it's any consolation, George, I am willing to look at abuse in the future.
Good.
I'm willing to consider being abused in the not too distant
Yeah,
future.
don't type in abuse 1996 into Google and just get crime statistics.
I can't wait to get abused.
So we're going to put this clip in somewhere just without any context, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, God. And then I'll do my Bionicle again, except this time I'm going to be quiet. It'll be fine.
Make sure it's a good 10 seconds, though. I think last time you only go for...
I don't have the lung capacity. 10 seconds.
Bye. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX! Generation X! Game on! Get your game on!
I know I've been the perfect way to start the podcast, just us all going like that.
I fucking hate you people.
You did it!
Chilling
You
out with my
started.
crew. In
I
the
didn't say I
yard.
didn't hate myself, George. Alright?
It's fair. Bionicle
Welcome to the
podcast.
Abandonshare podcast for the Sony PSP Tag Force.
I'm editing that into the beginning over top of your original intro. That's going to be the one. That's the intro. Alright? Well,
No,
God.
continue. Abandonshare, episode 2.
yeah.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Old video
What's
games, we showed
Abandonshare
it
about?
Yeah, I'm already there, Daniel! We've already done it, this is the second take, we know this!
Yeah, but they don't know this. You need to be a bit more clear.
Right,
George?
Abandonshare, episode 2. We show off old video games in a book report fashion, as was said last time, but you didn't get to hear it because that fucked up and died. So, we're going to show a bunch of old video games that we have not played or have played very little of, and the most important thing is they have to be obscure, at least as far as we are aware.
I wish you'd fuck up and die.
Wow.
Give it any Daniel. Any Daniel.
Man, I wish you were my OBS so you were dead and unreliable.
Once I crash and delete myself, yeah.
So,
Right.
up first is going to be Mr. Catman. Would you like to tell us what you played for?
Yes, I played a video game called Valis. Before I begin, I am going to ask this question yet again, because OBS died. What would you think if your best friend went on a date with the king of the dark world, and she did it just because she thought he was cute?
Damn, bro, jealous.
It's an alpha play.
Hey.
Yeah.
Depending on my players, it would make a lot of sense.
Yes.
My goal with this report is to immerse ourselves in the deep, deep lore of this video game And with that goal in mind, we can begin the video because that's how it begins.
There's
Now,
no
I
music.
sped this up because there was no music. I did speed this up because it took like 5 minutes to get through this, if not speed up. So this Japanese schoolgirl is standing under an awning in the rain, and then it stops raining, and then her red-haired, red-eyed friend shows up, and there's music all of a sudden.
That was very abrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says stuff that doesn't mean anything. She's just really cryptic, and she's like, bye-bye, I'm leaving town, but we'll see each other again real soon. Sometime, somewhere.
Why does she get music though?
Why are they both Sailor Scouts?
High quality
Yeah.
animation there. You see that?
Yes.
All
All
What
right.
if we shake the
Holy
PNG?
shit, this is
That's
a
all
totally
the
shift.
scene that makes me mild.
Oh no! Wait.
All right, that's it. That's the beginning. This
What
is
the
the
fuck
lore.
was that?
Right in there.
Huh.
Right in there.
So according to the instruction manual, which I am going to show here, that question that I asked you is the first text in the instruction manual.
Was that demon thing the Dark Prince of the Universe?
No, it was just the monster.
Oh, right.
So, I just want to start by kind of introducing the game. This is not the original version of this game. The original version of this game was released in 1986 on the Japanese MSX computer. These are our two main characters, Yuko and Reiko. We've seen them already. I actually did try to play the MSX version. I managed to find an actual online MSX emulator. It was bad. It was very bad. Do not play that version. If you're going to play a version, this is the version to play. This is on the Sega Genesis. It was released in 1991. And here we go. So, as we have seen, the plot is just that someone threw her a sword when the demon attacked her. The sword has a range of about hug distance. So it's very difficult to hit anything. But don't worry about that.
I thought this review was gonna be slow based on the no sound intro, but man,
Yeah.
it picked up quickly.
Oh yeah. So, but it's only that way until you get your first power up. At which point your sword begins to shoot bullets. So it gets a lot better really, really quickly. She is, as you will find out, the chosen one. There is going to be a whole nother plot element right after this first level. This first level is really, really easy. In fact, arguably this whole game is really, really easy. Like, it seems like it should be harder based on, the fact that it's a game of that era where, side-scrollers were all, hey, I'm gonna fucking murder you with difficulty. Enjoy. Now, this is alright. So, there's really not a whole lot to say other than just you shoot bullets out of your sword. Now, there are many different types of power-ups that you can get in this game. You won't even see all of them in my footage because I have about till level 3, and a lot of the power-ups don't show up until like level 5 for whatever reason. But each power-up has 3 levels of power, so I just picked up another one of these sword things, and now I'm shooting 2 bullets at a time. But this game's sneaky. So the power-ups that you get... okay, George, I know you've played the original Castlevania. Who else has played the original Castlevania?
I actually have now, yeah.
Not me.
I've only played the Metroidvanias.
So one of the things that the original Castlevania did was with the sub-weapons, you had different weapons that you would pick up out of torches. So, and a lot of times what the original Castlevania did was it gave you a weapon that you really didn't want to have, just to fuck with you. And that's what this game does, because if you pick up a different power-up than the one you already have, it will put you back down to level 1 power of that power-up. So you have to be real careful because it sets traps. The other thing that you really have to watch out for in this game is the fact that... there's level 3. Spread shot.
You get a new power up and you just lose that spread shot entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
It would dick move.
Yeah. Now, luckily, this didn't happen in this level. This is the intro level. But the other thing you really have to watch out for is the jumping mechanics. They're bad. Thankfully, the only level that has any real platforming is level 3. It took me about an hour to beat level 3. While I'm about at the end of this level. That's just for sake of comparison.
That was just the whole thing.
So, why are the jumping mechanics bad? Can you not adjust like midair or anything?
Well, you can adjust midair, but there's a quirk to it. But before we get there, we're about to meet our first boss, and here he is, Gieda, the Lord of the Earth. He lacks brain power, but has muscle and endurance. He's very... I didn't leave it up long enough. So this is a bullshit fight, because this earth-shaking thing that he does cannot be dodged. Even if you jump up in the air at the right time, you just still get hit by it. But it's okay, because you kill him really quickly. Alright.
It's just tank and spake. Like, don't learn how to dodge. Just stand here and hope you had enough health by the time you got to the boss.
I mean,
that is the entire game.
The entire room shook. In real life, you wouldn't be able to dodge it. Game's just following
realism.
realism.
You ever think about that?
Yeah.
This game is going for realism.
Exactly.
Yeah, as the shining wizard talks to you.
Was this?
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
Valia, or Varia, depending upon what part of the game you're in. And she is the Queen of Dreamland, or something. We're in a different time and space now. And she's basically going to explain that, you know, there's these two forces in the universe called Yin and Yang, and you want those two to be in balance. But lately, the Yin is becoming much more powerful in the people of the Earth, and so everything's getting thrown out of balance. And the evil Dark King Rogel's Dorn is invading now. And it's our job, because according to the instruction manual, Yuko here has yin and yang in perfect balance within her. So this obviously makes her the perfect warrior. And Yuko's not... Yeah. Yuko's not really interested in this. She's like, you're selfish. Fuck you. And then Valley is like, oh, but you're being influenced, and then off-model.
Oh.
Alright.
Thank God. I was waiting for that.
Wait, that's not
This
proper.
is much better.
That's not proper Arctic attire.
Yeah. You see, it was the 80s. So they had to make the Japanese schoolgirl wear like a weird armor bikini.
And what a
There's
better,
narwhal.
pure time it was back then.
But yeah, the controls. So the problem with the jumping isn't so much that, well, first of all, you can't jump forward very well. And the reason that you can't jump forward very well is because to jump high, you have to hold up on the D-pad. So it's very difficult to hold up and forward at the same time. And it's going to become, in level 3, it becomes very obvious how much of a problem this is, because there are a couple of jumps that can't be made.
You either get height or you get range. You do not get both.
Yes. Although there are jumps that even if you had range and height, you still couldn't make and fall into lava. which thankfully only does a little bit of HP damage, so it's not that much of a problem.
Well, so these aren't necessary jumps, then, are they? If they are impossible to be made.
Well, we'll get there.
Oh.
Huh.
They're not necessary jumps if you know where you're going. I did not know where I was going. I did not know which way I was supposed to go. Level 3 is much like level 3 of Mr. Nuts, actually. In that, you think that you're climbing up into a place to get to a secret. No, that is where the end of the level is. And what you think should be the end of the level is just power-ups.
Between the power-ups you don't want and misleading you about whether or not you can jump to different platforms, it sounds like this game employs a lot of asshole difficulty. And
It does.
because the bosses, you can't dodge the mechanics, it's a lot of just asshole difficulty with no, like, substantial difficulty. Like, there's no tactics to employ.
Yeah. So here's our second boss, Diva, the Lord of Water. I don't know why she's the Lord of Water. She should be the Lord of Air.
Anything to do with ice.
Is it fucking...
Like a harpy or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But, just like Gerrit, he goes down really quick. Oh, so what's happening here is that, Rogelsdorn has stolen the power of Yang, which, by the way, in Taoism, Yang is the female aspect of things. So he's stolen the power of Yang and sealed it in the Phantasm Jewel, and then broken the Phantasm Jewel into 5 parts. So our job is to kill... Oh, I almost forgot about the magic. Okay, let me talk about the magic too. So the Phantasm Jewel, each piece is held by one of the bosses, one of his 5 generals. And every time you get a piece of the Phantasm Jewel, you get a spell. There is only one spell worth using, and it's the first one you get. This is the one that causes an earthquake. Now, according to the instruction manual, this earthquake is not supposed to hit flying enemies that are not touching the ground or ceiling. That is a lie. It hits everything. It is a screen clear. You will never need any other spell. Okay, so...
This music is giving me a panic attack.
Really?
It's...
This is some
yes,
uncomfortable
here's the
music.
You're going to be hearing it a lot.
Oh, God.
Oh god.
So this is the jump that I'm talking about. You cannot get back on the platforms without falling into the lava, and you also cannot jump into that space without falling down and then having to go to the jump where you fall into the lava. So I give up at this point, and I just go because I'm thinking it's gonna be. I'm thinking that it should be like I thought Mr. Nuts should be, because yeah, it was a dead end power up, so I don't even bother. So I finally make it into this whole thing, and look what I get. A new power-up. I'm back at level 1.
Oh, this game went downhill real quick. It was promising for like the first 2 levels.
Oh no.
So here's the fucked up part. So this is the last level that I'm actually showing off. I've played through the entire game abusing save states and using the only cheat code in the game, which is just refill health and magic for free. And no other level is like this. This is the only one. There is no other significant platforming, like there's no labyrinthine trying to figure out where you're supposed to go. This is the only level that's like this. And only that one stage of the level. So now that I've changed screens, it's no longer like that. Oh yeah, here we go, we're back at level 1 bullets.
Oh.
Now eventually I figured out that you're not actually supposed to jump over these pits, you're supposed to do the slide dash, because when you're doing the slide dash, gravity doesn't exist.
You slide.
Well,
Jump.
I mean, if you could slide on air, you'd be doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's just some more of that magic you mentioned, you know?
Yep. Back to level 1.
Congrats.
Oh no.
And that's not so much of a problem right here. But later in the game, it actually does become a problem because, like, right up until I think it's level 5 boss, where, like, levels 1 through 4, you can pretty much just tank and spank, as Sleeper said, and just stand there and shoot until they are dead. The boss of level 5, you cannot do that. It will murder the hell out of you, and you have to eventually... Basically, the only way to beat the level 5 boss is to have level 3 laser. This is laser that I'm using right here. Because laser does quite a bit of damage, but it's short range. So if you have that on the level 5 boss, you can just tank and spank. But if you don't, you're fucked. Hey, level 2. Alright, now I'm firing 2 of them.
Oh shit. 2 whole lasers.
At least until the next hour.
Look out, bad guys.
I'm not sure if you get to see level 3 laser, but level 3 laser is just the same as level 2 laser, but you also fire 1 laser behind you.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that might be useful if getting surrounded, but that doesn't sound especially good.
It never came into play. Not once. So you're not
Taste my ass, laser!
Do not taste his ass, laser.
Yeah, that's gross.
Huh.
I'm
So, some
saying
of the
it's
other
like the
power-ups-
demons.
Some of the other power-ups you can get include arrows, which are like they actually track targets. So, here we go, final boss that I'm going to show. By the way, his magic, he's actually going to use it. This thing that is swirling around him here, his fire shield, that's his magic spell. It is completely useless.
Jeez, this guy's wearing less clothes than you.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I think in the 80s...
I mean, look at... Man, you can't wear a lot of clothes in hell. You're too hot.
Ah, shit. That is a
Don't scream!
good point.
Alright, that's it. I'm done. That's all of it.
There
Is that all you've got to say?
That's all I've got.
Thank you for the looping shot of her tummy. Thank you. I mean, I don't know why we're getting this, but I appreciate it.
Sure,
Yeah,
Catman.
you know exactly why.
I want to make sure everybody knew it.
Well,
Look at your face.
Was this a CD game? Was this a Sega
It
CD
was
game?
not. It was a standard Sega Genesis game.
I am amazed that they fit anime cutscenes onto this. That one didn't know that was possible without the CD, but well, it's clearly
look,
paying
even-
off. Look.
Even though it's only 100 by 100, it's still an anime cutscene, so good on them.
Yeah.
true. So, Catman, would you say you enjoyed this game?
Actually, yeah, I did enjoy it.
Really?
It was not as horrible as it sounds, because, you know, when you focus on all the problems of the game, you can make any game sound bad. But ultimately, I actually did have a lot of fun playing this game. Unlike Mr. Nuts, I did play all the way through this. I just didn't want to show the entire game in case people wanted to play. I didn't want to do spoilers because there is more plot later on. I would give this game 3 off-model anime bikini girls out of 5.
Alright. That's a pretty high score. If I do say so myself. Let's see
It
if
is
we
a
can
high
top
score.
that with following games.
It's a high score given that third level.
Oh, man.
Now, I will say that this is the first Valis game. There are 3 more in the main series, and I may do more of those in the future. The second one I've already kind of looked at, and it is a CD game.
Oh god.
Oh, God.
Higher definition.
Revisiting Valis. Abandonshare episode 3.
And 4. And 5.
In fact, you're the Valis guy now.
That's the only thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah, you go first and you talk about Valis. That's your place.
All right,
There you
well,
are,
you know, after Valis 4, I don't think you want to see the next one.
Good point. Yeah, never mind.
Oh.
Ignore that.
It's a hentai game.
Oh, hey.
Oh, man, he
it was
said it.
building. There was 4 games of plot, and it was all building up to Valis 5.
I played Valis for the plot.
God damn it.
Well, on that note, up next we've got who? Sleeper?
Sleeper.
Yep.
Alright, Sleeper, while I get this set up, why don't you tell us a little bit about the game you've played?
Okay. So I played Unworthy, which is not an old game, per se. It was released some point within the 2010s, but I feel like it got somewhat overshadowed by Blasphemous in terms of 2D pixel art, Metroidvania, Dark Souls-like games. Because that is what this is, except this is also a 2D monochromatic pixel art, Metroidvania, Dark Souls-like game.
Oh, it's going for the Game Boy retro feel. Oof.
It's, the title screen's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes, it is.
Very stylish.
Yep. As soon as we hit play, the crow's going to fly in.
Nice.
There we go. Just click around a bit, make sure the controller's working. As you do.
As you do. Ooh.
On
The
a
plot-
mountain of skulls in the castle of pain, I sat on a throne of blood.
The plot is somewhat obscure, much like you would expect from like a Dark Souls-y game. They don't explain a whole lot. Here is someone being thrown into a grave and someone else getting decapitated. There was a tutorial level that I skipped because there wasn't really anything here, and now here's you. I don't really know if your guy has a name. I don't think he does. I don't think anyone ever mentioned it. But this is the game. So we're going to do some minor just talking to this guy in the beginning, and we're going to get right into the combat. Combat is relatively straightforward. You attack and dodge, both of which use up stamina. When out of stamina, I think you can still dodge, but you can only do one attack at a time at that point. So you are somewhat shit out of luck if you run out of stamina. You can absorb one attack from an enemy with the shield up there in the corner, if you can see. But as soon as you take that hit, the shield needs time to recharge. And I'm going to get my ass kicked right here, because I am not used to Dark Souls games. I'm a big fan of Metro. The death screen is also very intense.
Oh, man.
You're gonna see a lot of that from me, by the way.
I kind of guessed. I do know
Yes.
you after all.
Yes, I'm not good at games, but especially I'm not good at Dark Souls games. I've not played one of these before. I'm more in the Metroidvania style of games, and getting used to the kind of weighty, like, deliberate combat you need to do to be good at this, it takes some doing for me. This is not my wheelhouse. But I was really drawn in by the art style. I love how this game looks.
Okay,
I really like the pixel art monochromatic like thing they got going on here. What were you saying, Skiza?
As someone who actually is like a massive fan of the Souls games, like I can see a lot of Souls games in this. This has already piqued my interest. I'm just gonna guess that as you killed your enemies, I saw you picking up sin. I'm guessing that's kind of like the currency that you use to level up. I'm guessing.
I think so. You level up independent of how much sin you have. There is an XP thing being tracked, which I think you can see on, if I ever pause, you'll see what your current XP is. I'm not sure what sin is. I don't know that I got far enough in order to find out what it's used for, what it does. Maybe it's a currency. Maybe it's used, like, it affects your ending, how much sin you have, or something like that. Oh, here we go, and save point is bonfires, basically.
Yeah.
Just as you would
Such a
expect
Souls
from...
game.
It's blatant about it. But that's
I
fun.
love it. Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with like making a Souls game if you do it right, and like this seems to be doing a decent job at it from what I can see.
Yes. So I don't know what makes a good Souls game. What I like about this game is that even though at several points I'm just getting reamed, I keep going back at it. It's got whatever it is that compels you to get past those choke points and beat the bosses or beat those gauntlets.
It's got the get good factor, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you will see that over time. I have like, what, 20 minutes of gameplay? I had to cut down what was 2.5 hours of gameplay into this. Because there were some very long segments of me struggling to get good. So I skip those. I give you some of the deaths, and you will see me getting good. And I do kind of get good. Not really. I get better. But you can see the progression of me getting better as time goes on. Here is just collected the map. At some point I will show off the map.
Ooh, underground.
Yes.
Oh god, such a Souls fucking transition.
I really like some of the backgrounds get reused quite a bit. You will re-see the pillars with the people carved into them quite a few times throughout the game. But I really like the background. I like the attention to detail and like the aesthetic they've got going on here. It's sufficiently dark and brooding and yeah.
You know, you don't often hear the word re-see.
I guess you don't. Oh, the names of the zones are also beautiful. You got Cradle of Death. I believe you'll have the Throat of Despair later on. So they're a peach.
This is a Dark Souls game, yeah.
Great
Yeah.
metal album names.
It's the edgy stuff I live for.
Yeah, got great album names. So occasionally you will come across NPCs like this guy and the Gravekeeper in the beginning, who will give you, I guess, background info. There isn't really a defined plot. As I said, things are kind of abstract. It's more so absorbing the theme and, like, the ambiance of the situation, rather than there being a concrete plot. At least as far as I've gotten. I have not gotten especially far, and here is the first of 2 bosses that I was able to kill. I believe it's Svet, the Devourer of Light.
Damn, that's a
He
name.
has a big-ass sword.
He has a big-ass sword. He's also the reason I almost didn't do this game for Abandonshare, because the first time I tried this game, I could not get past Svet. This asshole just kept killing me, and I gave up at one point. And I was going to do something else, but you know, I stuck to it, I got good, and he's gonna kill me in a few seconds, so...
You got good, huh?
I did get good.
It doesn't matter how good
So-
you get in Souls-like games. You will die still.
A very fitting title.
Edited, this is actually my second run. I didn't skip any attempts. So this is my second time killing Svet, and this one is the successful time. So what you gotta do, because you can't continuously dodge roll, or you'll run out of stamina, and then you won't be able to attack multiple times. So you need to wait, you need to bait out his sword swing, and then walk past him, and then dodge the fire fist ground attack, and then attack. And you get into a rhythm with all of these bosses on how you're supposed to approach them. And if you go at it haphazardly, you'll run out of stamina, you won't be able to attack, and they'll combo you out. I believe Svet has 4 attacks that he will eventually go through. He gains new attacks as he loses health. So there's... There we go. Big flaming sword swing.
Oh, it's good.
You've entered the next stage of the boss fight, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Also, if you stand too far away from Svet, he will throw something at you, which is whatever that noise
Those
is.
were just arms.
Flapping arms.
Arms coming out of the ground.
Was that what that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he will send arms out of the ground at you, which is not easy to dodge. So you want to stay at least close enough to him that doesn't happen. And I had barely any health there because I did not notice how low I was getting. But I got him. I did not notice.
You know, if you did notice, you probably just would have panicked and died.
Yeah.
Yep. But something I also didn't realize until later into my playthrough, if you see down there in the bottom left corner, the 2 thing,
Yeah.
that's Essence of Sin, that restores what is it, 40 health over 2 seconds.
Okay.
You get 2 heal potions every time you die or save that you can use. I did not know that, and that did not occur to me until quite a ways in. Catacombs of This is actually a Morrowind game.
Nice.
No, you could pronounce it.
So this is... So, by killing Svet, you got the lantern, which is necessary to come here. We passed this elevator earlier, but if we were down here, we wouldn't be able to see anything. And that would be even worse for me. So,
That would
new
have been
enemy,
hilarious, though.
new enemy, spider thing, killed me immediately because I didn't know its pattern. Decide to go the other way this time. And this way goes so much better for me. Am I gonna save? No, I'm not gonna save. I'm gonna explode, but oh no.
Oh no. Fall damage?
There we go.
Yeah. I fell down a pit. There was a save point, and right there in the pit, down the elevator again. So the enemies in each of the zones, I don't know it at this point, because I'm still trying to figure out the moves of the enemies. They do somewhat prepare you for the boss. What you're supposed to do, for the boss of the zone, that is. What you're supposed to do with these guys is walk towards them, bait out their attack, and then walk away. And then go back in. And that's not something I figure out for quite a while. I will point out now, I'm level 4. Throughout this, I will die quite a few times, and just see how my level goes up. So entering in the, Catacombs of I'm level 4, and that will not stay that way for long. Here's my death montage.
This
Here's
one guy.
One of 3 death montages, I think. There we go. Level 5. Leveling up gives you a full heal and a full stamina restore, which is nice. I don't plan for getting the level ups, like, as a way of strategizing, but, they happen.
So, do you get to keep experience you've gained, like, after you die? Or is it just go back to last save?
You keep experience. You will go back to your last save point, but enemies will respawn, and you will... Yeah, enemies will respawn. You'll keep any of the levels and items you get. I don't show off very much the items you get, but enemies, if you hear every once in a while, you'll hear a noise indicating an item pickup. They drop things like rotten meat or burnt flesh. Most of those are just heals. So you can eat them out of combat and heal 10 to 15 health. And they provide a bit of reprieve between uses of your Essences of Sin. I jump right onto an enemy that I didn't see because I neglected the very nice ladder the game placed, because at no point have I ever had a problem jumping off anything yet. But now I've learned. I don't understand the mechanics of these things yet, these little fire demons. We fought one earlier, actually, 2 screens ago, when attacking the arachnid that was spitting at us. So what I don't understand is that if you're in their line of sight, and they are far away from you, they will turn into fireballs and kill themselves trying to throw themselves at you. And they do a lot of damage.
Nice.
So at this point, I'm confused, because I don't know where the second one went, because I didn't realize he kamikazed himself on me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And we got more of them. They are not especially hard. They can get stun-locked somewhat easily, but if you let them see you, they will burn you. And burning is a real pain in the ass. It will do a lot of damage. At this point, I am also still not confident fighting the spiders. And skip ahead.
It's too bad you can't use the fireball things against the spider. That would have been cool.
No, I don't believe so. Die again.
Level 6.
Yep. You're gonna show off burning. There we go. This is, by the time I take this footage, as far as I've gotten. As you see. This is quite a ways from where I was. Enter into a room. I get fireballed, there's a spider, and then there's a second spider. Fuck me.
I sure do love death montage.
Alright, so, level 13!
Oh shit!
Oh, fuck.
I was at this for quite some time. Leveled up in a battle level 14. This is my successful run through this gauntlet.
This really is a Souls game.
Yeah.
Now I'm
I
at
see you
least somewhat
figured it
good.
out.
I finally figured it out, yeah. You bait out the attack and you step back, and then you go back in, you attack twice, not 3 times, because the third swing is slow, and that gives them enough time to interrupt you. By now, I've also figured out the demon thing. Here we go. Look at me. I proper got good.
You got good. Done did it.
You got good, right? You did it, lad.
My God, look at him go.
Just making them kamikaze, huh?
Yep.
It's effective.
Yeah, it's working. I'm not complaining.
Look,
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to be level 7 at this point, and I'm level 14. I don't think I need to grind them for experience. I'll let them blow themselves up.
That's fair.
You do gain both health, stamina. I say both. You gain all of the following: health, stamina, and damage as you level up. You don't gain a lot, but by this point I have gotten to a high enough level that I kill the spiders in 5 swings instead of the 6 I think you initially did, which is not a huge bonus, but every little bit helps. I still don't quite know how to deal with when they spit, because you don't want to dodge when they do the downward claw attack, but you do want to dodge when they spit. And I don't know if there's a tell to figure out which they're gonna do, but
It looked like there was a tell, like they reared back a bit to do the spit.
Yeah. So enemies do not see you on ladders for
As you can.
like at any like you can get right down there and they won't see you until you hit the floor.
Very pretty game.
It
I'm
is
enjoying the
a
most.
joy to look at. I really like the art style of this game.
In some ways, it reminds me of what was the name of that game where you're a kid and everything's
Limbo?
just Limbo. That's it.
Yeah, Limbo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, as much as I want to gush about the art style, I also want to say the sound direction is really good. I love just the sounds of like enemies cocking their crossbows and you hitting them and the death noises they make. I really think it fits really well, and I love listening to it. And a lot of the noises are key telegraphs of enemy attacks, and sometimes you miss the telegraphs with the visual cues because everything's monochromatic and grayscale, and sometimes it's not easy. I lose track of my character sometimes, and it's really helpful to hear when an attack is coming. And the game is very generous about that. The audio cues are very clear, very distinct, and I like it. I just decide...
That's new.
You just
Yes.
decide you don't care anymore.
I just decide I'm not fucking with that. I don't know why I went into this
Come
room
back,
the
come back
second
and
time.
pull, come back. Oh, just to kill them ones.
Here we go.
You don't even get XP for it.
No.
You just...
This is as far as I had gotten previously. Fuck all this room. I don't care. I'm Sonic rolling out, and I make it to the save point here. Oh, that was so satisfying to get to the save point. Between that save point and here, there was not really any combat. This is just a little ways away that I didn't want to show walking. And here is our second boss, Narcos the Anvil.
Oh, that's a good name.
That is a great name.
Broke it.
That's a good introduction.
I gotta say, the enemy and boss designs are very cool looking, considering it's all in, like...
Considering there's not a whole lot
silhouette.
to show.
Yeah, it's all in silhouette, but they do look really cool.
Yes. So I will die quite a few times to Narcos. He starts off just by slamming his hammer down as you approach. Then he gains the roll and the sideways swing on the hammer. Each hit with his hammer does like a third of your health. It is brutal. It's a pain. There we go.
Ooh.
There you go. Unworthy.
Yep.
So here's a question. I noticed that there's, I assume that the meter on the bottom is your stamina, right?
Yes.
What is the deal with the shield that, fills up and empties?
So you can take one free hit, and the shield will absorb it. But after you take that one hit, the shield needs time to recharge.
There
There he goes.
That's great.
I feel like there should be some old-timey black and white music over there.
I unfortunately did not think to include any. So I haven't been doing any grinding because there's no enemies between the last save point and Narcos, so I've just been throwing myself at Narcos for, I think, half an hour is how long this took. But this is the run where I finally beat him.
This is looking good. You got it down. You got the pattern down. Look at you go.
Look at you go. You got this.
There's no way you
Choose a
don't.
Dark Souls boss. One hit. Dodge, dodge, dodge. One
Roll
hit.
after.
You'd think that get tedious after a while, but it really doesn't.
My fingers were so sore by the time this was done. Because you can use the joystick in order to move, but with a 2D game like this, I find it's not precise enough. So I'm using the D-pad, and my thumbs are killing me by the time I'm getting here.
I can imagine.
Please tell me that you are not using an Xbox controller.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
The D-pad on those is awesome.
I know!
No.
I'm so sorry.
Man.
This man was playing with an extra handicap.
He already had enough.
Oh, look. Oh.
Oh, man.
Yay!
Filth cleansed!
Go on.
Ooh. You did it.
And I got the hammer. This is the first new weapon in the game.
Nice.
And it just one hits the... I don't know if it's the hammer or the fact that I'm, like, twice as high level as I should be, but he just one hit these guys now.
Perfect.
Really?
Oh,
Bit of
that's
both.
beautiful.
You can equip 2 weapons at a time and switch between them using right bumper. And this is about as far as I've gotten. So there's nothing left to show of the gameplay past this. I didn't know that I'd be able to actually speak for this long. But this is a really simple game, but the complexity is all in the execution. You need to learn enemy attack patterns and whatnot. So it is definitely more of a Dark Souls game than it is a Metroidvania game, I'd say. But nevertheless, I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to do my best to complete this game.
It does look like it does a good job of boiling down Dark Souls to its most basic features, its most basic components, while still being pretty neat looking.
Yep.
All
That's
right.
definitely won me over.
How many dead sleeper corpses out of 5 would you give this?
Well, there's a lot of dead sleeper corpses to pick from. I'd give this 4. I give this 4 dead sleeper corpses out of 5.
Oh,
That's a
man.
good rating.
That's a good
I
rating.
anticipate. Yes, I want to get back to it. I am not good at this game. That I ended up accidentally grinding, I think, is a testament to how not good at this game I am.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
think we
really
saw that.
compelled. I'm compelled to keep going. I'm not done yet. I only just got a new weapon. I can't give up yet.
Very admirable that you kept almost all of your dying in. You just...
No,
Yeah.
no, I did not. That's only a fraction.
Oh,
of it.
man.
I've got 2 hours of footage.
Oh wait, this was like 90% just you dying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
man.
no.
I thought you deliberately edited in all your deaths.
No.
No.
No, I went from level 7 to level 14 in one edit. There was
True.
a lot
True.
in between.
Something happened there.
You do not level up quickly. That's quite a few runs.
That's what makes a good.
Maybe I'll make a death montage that we can put up for the Patreon.
Right.
Patreon.
Alright,
The
so
Patreon eventually. Eventually.
that was pretty interesting, but up next, that'd be you, George?
It would be me, and we'll see if my internet holds up because I did lose video a few times and sound once. So we'll see if I manage it. Gonna give it a go.
Alright,
Oh,
while I get this set up, tell me something about your game. Tell me about it.
I am playing a game called Abuse, released in 1996. Yes, that is just its name. It is incredibly edgy. It is like a mid-90s shooter for dogs. It's remarkably edgy.
Oh my god.
And this is going to continue on. It was made by crack.com, spelled out. Crack.com, DOTCOM. But this is interesting, right? It was co-founded by an id Software dev, right?
Okay.
So this is gonna get a lot of, you're gonna get a lot of comparisons to this, and it was published by like EA and Origin and Bungie. This is something that I'm surprised that hasn't been heard of a bunch. It's quite,
It's got a
I mean,
bunch
it's
of
got
big names in
enough
it.
big names, yeah.
Yeah.
but it's quite good. Yeah. So late 90s, right?
Alright.
This game was released, just to give an example of how successful it was at the time. It got good reviews, but the source code was released in the 90s. It's been open source for a while, and I am playing a 2016 anniversary version by someone on the internet that I might be able to get the links in the description for something or other.
Alright.
I've got them.
Thank you, some guy on the internet.
Are you
Give me
ready
a second,
to
I
go?
have his name. I
Oh,
have his
man.
name.
Oh,
His name is
geez.
Antrad88. Yes.
Thank you,
There you go.
Entrad
That
88.
guy made this
Antrad-
game work on Windows.
Entred, you keep this in mind. You're responsible for whatever we're about to see.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
This is a good game. I am prefacing this with this is a good game. It's very simple, but it's good. I enjoyed it. I want to finish it. I think I'm about halfway through. I do not have half all of my playtime in this, but I am about halfway through the game. I think it's 20 levels, and I'm about 10 in. So we'll see. You can go ahead and play the video now, Daniel. Whenever you want. And turn the sound down by about half because it's very loud when the enemies turn up. This is just me trying to figure out what any of those menu things actually mean for a second.
What's going on with that menu?
I don't know. There's just icons. Some of them obvious.
So with a name like Abuse, it is not immediately clear, are you the abuser or the abused?
No, right, I will explain the plot right now. You are set in this game. This is the far-off year of 2009.
Hot damn.
Oh man.
You are a man
Oh god. That's a dark, yeah.
named Nick Brenner, and you are stuck in a prison where they're experimenting with the chemical abuse, which has infected a bunch of people except you. So it's just you, robots, and a bunch of mutants. Right?
Okay.
So this game,
They're forcing
in those
drug
reviews,
addiction on you.
yeah, they're trying to make some sort of mutant animal people who can do war good. I don't understand it. That's as much as I got from the README. So this was called 2D Doom at the time by games journalists as they are, prone to do. And it's fair. It's by an id Software guy. There's a lot of similarities. You pick up a bunch of different weapons of generic type. Here's some. Grenade launcher that launches things that look like bones that explode, yes. I don't think you can do self-damage, I didn't even notice. Might have killed myself at some point. and a rocket launcher, and you save at checkpoints like this. So yeah, this is very, very similar to a lot of games at the time, especially like id Software games. It even has the same composer as like Doom and Wolfenstein and some of the Duke Nukem games. It's quite impressive. But
the backing track is simple, but I like it.
Yeah, no, the whole game has sort of stuff like this. It doesn't really get much more intense as far as I've seen, but it's just nice. It's just solid. Just goes. My main problem while playing this game the whole way through, and you will see this, is me trying to get used to like how the input works. Because if I press like W to jump, right? I'll press W to jump, but if I press it for slightly too long, I don't know if this is me, I don't know if this is my computer, I don't know what, but I will jump twice, and it's just, this ruined me on so many occasions. It just destroyed me. I've died about 5 times just from jumping by accident or falling off of something.
So do you aim?
Most of them are in. You aim with the mouse.
Okay.
You're pointing the mouse, and that controls like how far certain objects you will shoot go. This happens, and there's a horrible. That scream is very loud in person. You get power-ups that allow you to run at super speed. That's the only one I found so far. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty nice.
So yeah, I don't know how many weapons I will manage to show off in this footage. I don't think I got beyond one more than this, and so far I've seen that there's a few more. There's like a flamethrower and stuff that turns up later. You'll see one at least. But
I
a lot
assume
of this
there's
game,
as many weapons as there is slots at the bottom for weapons.
I've got most of them, I'm sure, but I haven't got them all yet. I haven't got the big laser that destroys everything in one hit yet, which is concerning.
The BFG.
But yeah, yes, you need that. There's just so far rifle, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, some sort of lightning gun that will turn up. The whole game is this, right? It's all solving puzzles or shooting enemies to press a button to go through a door to continue. It's the same thing. It's very simple, like a very simple DOS action game. But for some reason, I don't know why, I just kept playing. I just kept going and going and going. I haven't progressed much further than I have before, but I've just been replaying stuff and doing stuff differently, which is really fun to mess about with. And it's.
So would you say that the game has good replayability?
Yeah, I feel like if you like it, if you like what you're doing, yeah. But it's all the same thing, but something jolts me. And this happens consistently throughout the game. The whole thing, right, is half the time, either by your choice or because you want to, because it throws you into something like that, you end up triggering about 7,000 enemies to fall from the screen. And they have a quote in the README for this version from the devs that say that their very edgy reason as to why they called this game Abuse. We chose Abuse for our first game name because the game involved knowing full well that pressing the buttons in all those rooms was going to bring down hordes of howlers, but you would do it anyway, abusing yourself, and you can just feel the mid-90s edge hit you right in the chest.
Oh,
it's
man.
just incredible.
Good God.
And there's a lot of puzzles that aren't really puzzles, right? There's jumping puzzles and run this way puzzles, and here don't trigger all of these enemies will die, just run away. And it just continues on and on like this. But for some reason, it's just really. What happened?
Every time they just scream and explode, I find it hilarious.
It's so loud. It's deafening. You have to play this game on 50% volume. I have permanent hearing damage here. No way. Like even this is horribly loud.
Yeah, this is really
gonna
loud.
I believe this is going to be me trying to figure out how to aim the fucking bone grenades that you have to shoot out for a while before giving up. And yeah, this is the extent. There's a few more puzzle types, but they're all vaguely similar to this. And I keep shooting a bunch of walls I see, because in the first level, there was destructible walls, right? Mm-hmm. And they had a very specific texture. They looked crumbly. And then later on, I swear they use that exact same texture, but it doesn't mean anything.
Just use that for regular wall textures?
Yeah, I swear I end up shooting stuff, nothing. Look, right, see it right there? That looks crumbly on the wall there, and I'm almost certainly going to try and shoot it for ages.
Yeah, and it
That was one.
worked.
That was one.
Way to undercut your own point there.
Can you see what I mean? But I can't tell personally.
The game's
Right,
absolutely-
This is the third level and the final of the bunch that I have recorded. It does go on. This is an enemy that appeared like 3 or 4 times. It's just a drill that comes at you and you have to try and murder it. Well, you can stop doing that. That is it. That is the enemy. That is how you do that. And if you can't jump over, you just simply exist with it. That's how you work. And it's... Oh dear. Oh, no, everything's fine. I'm fine. It's all fine.
George, calm down. You're not even playing the game right now.
It's
It's the PTSD.
You can't stress out about your past performance.
It's very intense. It's very intense. Look, you see this? This looks breakable to me in my brain. This looks like the sort of breakable texture. It's not. This definitely isn't, I hope.
I mean, you shot at it quite a bit by this point.
Yeah, no, but it's...
It's weird that it's just at the end of a guarded hallway if there's nothing there, though.
Yeah,
It's
look,
just
that's
bait.
it. There's a button to press. No, that's this entire game. It's just baiting you into a corner to press a button. And then a
This
bunch
whole
of
game
lasers
is
or
just
bombs shoot.
abuse.
Yeah, that's the quote from the developer. That's their design philosophy in 1996. This is just like abuse. You abuse yourself to progress. Look, again!
You're gonna hate it, but you're gonna want it more, you little bitch.
Yeah, this...
Huh.
I haven't died yet, and I'm pretty sure I'm...
I'm a mid-90s game
You're
developer,
throwing
leave me
off.
alone.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you are. Oh no. Wait, no.
Gone.
Yeah, I speed through.
Oh, hello.
What the fuck? God damn it!
Bionicle.
God damn it, George!
I'm tired of this bloody
No, I
bionic.
had to do it! I had to do it! It's
We
not-
can't keep letting him get away with this.
Bloody bionic.
This isn't a Bionicle game! You can't do that!
That's not directly Bionicle related joke. Though somehow, like 2 of you, I have ended up speeding up stuff or cutting stuff together in some sort of, like death compilation or reset
Nice.
compilation. So this happens a bunch over this level. This level is the first time I experienced any sort of difficulty or challenge. It was because I was getting tired or what. It started. But yeah, the alien things, do they not look like xenomorphs to you? Like the
They
World
do,
Rocket Pack
absolutely.
Yeah.
like the only difference in enemies, as far as I can tell, throughout the entire game, right? There's like different kinds of robots, like those turrets and the stationary ones. That I don't know if you've seen or not yet. The stationary ones and like drones. But the main enemy is always those like xenomorphs with backpacks, but with a different weapon, with your laser gun or with your rocket launcher. That is it. That's what you fight. But it's just how many of them, or what corner it decides to spawn you in and push you against and abuse you. I want to say it took me about 500 years to do that the first time for some reason. When I played this through, God knows how many years ago now. I have played this before, and that sort of breaks the convention, but I haven't done that yet. Oh, there goes my
Everyone
internet.
gets one.
Yes. No, but the last game I played before as well. I haven't played a new game yet. I will get on brand eventually. I will.
You're supposed to be playing new games, George.
But I've only played them a bit, a little tiny bit.
George, you
Both of
bastard.
I went to check if look. I
Follow
went to
the
check
rules,
if-
dumbass.
We have a simple rule.
Look, I'm following them mostly from now on.
Look, George, just lie. You'll get away with
Just
it, we're not
lie.
gonna check.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We're not gonna know what DOS games you played in the 90s.
I didn't play any DOS games in the 90s, Sleeper. I'm not that old.
Yes, you are. I choose
No,
to
I'm
believe
not.
you're that old.
No. I couldn't have played this game in 1996. I'm 2 years off being born when they were refusing to play this game, I'm afraid.
Oh, children.
I don't understand.
Old.
I don't like being old, so I need
don't
to assume
understand.
you are old as well.
I don't understand. With all of the like pedigree this game has got, I understand it's very simple, but a lot of the games in the mid-90s were very simple. I don't understand why this has absolutely like nothing around it. I've never seen anything on it. I don't think the highest viewed YouTube video has over 100,000 or whatever. I think it was like one with 50 or something.
Do you think the name did it in? That it was
Yeah,
just
maybe.
too
It's like,
edgy?
oh, this is just some edgy shareware from the 90s. I'm not playing that. It's like a hidden okay game. Is the most. I'm not going to give it hidden masterpiece. We won't give it that. It's pretty good. Oh, here we go. I think that was an enemy with grenade launcher capabilities. The place I found this, and the only reason I know about this, is because I'm someone who plays a lot of DOS games, and I found it in a PNG of recommended games from God knows when. A PNG.
What I just realized is the name Abuse really that much edgier than the name Doom? But Doom
No.
made it.
But the reason is they had it in their manual. But this specific thing, right? The only reason I'm doing this, I'm getting those items, right? That's what I want. I just want to get the items for the sake of it. But every single one, and you know it, does that. It spawns in enemies, and that was. This is the entire design premise. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I do.
Imagine if in the manual for Doom it was like, we wanted the player to feel doomed.
If you are doomed, for the game is difficult and full of doom, that's what we call it. Look, this guy left in software for a reason, and I don't think it was edginess.
Oh no!
Oh, Jesus!
Oh god!
Oh my god.
Uh,
Like,
Can we
just because
replace
the game
George?
makes horrible noises doesn't mean you can edit them in.
I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Look, I don't even. I swear. No, look, no, I did shoot it. If that is a hidden thing again, I don't know. I didn't shoot it enough, I don't think. That's the end of those jokes, by the way. I will not be reusing any in-cut Bionicle related editing jokes anymore for the moment.
I wonder if maybe the crumbly walls that aren't breaking need to be shot with like specific weapons or something.
I tried almost every single one with all of the weapons I had, and maybe it's a weapon you don't have, but maybe I think I missed a secret at some point that might have given me a weapon that could have done it. But I think it's genuinely just that they just reused the texture for secrets that they established for just random bits of war. This is the new enemy, by the way. That's just a robot that stands still and launches grenades in the same spot. I was in this room for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes real time, falling down. I think I speed through most of it. But this specific bit where it knocks you right, unless you jump at the right time, unless you jump as soon as you hit it, you go down. And I fell down so much, just in this one room. And that was the most abuse I ever took in this game.
Hey.
I'm gonna be honest, Mr. Deadman. I'm gonna be honest, Mr. Deadman. Mr. What's your name? What's your name? I know your name. Dave Taylor. Mr. Dave Taylor, why did you do that to me? Why did you give me jumping puzzles? Like, it happens again in just like a staircase thing, where I just cannot press W once.
Oh, that... I know you sped through it, but that was painful to watch right there.
I'm having so much pain in real life, being just horribly confused as to why one tap of W that was about this long, just that, would for some reason make me jump about 3 times sometimes if I did it wrong. I do not know if it's like the port or my computer or my keyboard. I could not tell you.
Something is amiss.
Yeah, something is up with the controls that doesn't feel like it's intended. Oh, am I gonna die again here? Oh yeah, there we go. There's some sort of zap gun that I used precisely once ever and never found any ammo for ever again.
well,
Is there not shared ammo? It's ammo per gun?
No, it's ammo for individual things.
Gotcha.
Giant bouncy things.
God, could you imagine if there was something convenient in the 90s?
And
That's
I
the
believe
video.
that is
Would've been
all I have
nice,
to show of that game. It was really good. It was very repetitive, and the controls were a bit iffy for jumping. But other than that, I feel like it should be known more. That's the only reason I played it, is because I feel like it should be known more for the pedigree that it has.
I didn't notice, but are there bosses or anything?
I didn't encounter any sort of boss fights as far as I'm aware. There might be ones further in, but I have not encountered one. All I've encountered is just more enemies, more abuse.
Because I think maybe that might be what kept this game from, like, getting into, like, I don't know, more well-known status. Is it seems like a good, solid experience throughout, but it doesn't have, like, a lot of memorable things to grab onto.
You're just going and going and going and doing it. But I don't know. I really enjoy just how that game, like the entire atmosphere, how it plays, how it feels, how it sounds, other than the screaming, other than the horrible, high-pitched, like horribly compressed...
The every once in a while jaguar noise.
But like 400 times repeated and laggy, because it's a game from 1996 and they've decided to spawn in precisely one more enemy than the engine can handle at the time. I don't know what that's like on DOS. I would not want to try it.
On that note,
a horribly compressed resolution.
How many strangled xenomorph cats would you give that out of 5? That wasn't an accident. I did that on purpose. But if you want to know, somewhere in between 3 and 4. I want to rate it 4 because I really like it, but I feel like there's stuff holding it back. I really just want that game to become a bit more well known, because I feel it should be. But other than that, that's my game. That's the end of Bionicle. Gone. Bionicle is dead.
Bionicle is gone.
Let that be a lesson to all our listeners. Play old DOS games.
Yes, old DOS games are very interesting. There's entire communities based around just like, here's a list of games no one's ever played before in their life. Some mid-90s shareware or some ZX Spectrum game someone made in their basement in 1987.
All
right. No, so on that note, Schizo, I think you're up next.
Hello, I believe it is me next. Yes. Okay, so the game I played was called Eternal Blade or Eternal Blade. I have no idea how you pronounce it. I'm just going to call it Eternal Blade.
Is that an AE character?
Yeah, it's an AE character.
Nice.
And basically, it's kind of a 3D side-scroller thing. It came out in 2014 for the PlayStation 4, the Vita, Switch, and I think it's on Steam, but I'll have to check that again later. I have no memory of getting this game ever. I just saw it on PlayStation 4's library, and I was like, I don't think I've ever played this before, so I'll give it a shot. Right off the bat, I would just say it's a game that I think had a lot of potential, but it also had a lot of restraints that held that potential back, and I think that'll become a little clearer as we play the game. Really mixed feelings on this game, so...
Alright, I'll start it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start here. Nice little, like, Japanese-sounding name song. I really like this menu screen, by the way. It looks really pretty. And, just testing the controls. And when I was playing, I thought it would have a lot more of a steampunk feeling with the cogs and stuff, but really it was just kind of symbolic of time, which I'm fine with.
They baited you. They baited you with cogs.
Yeah, it baited me with cogs. I thought it was going to be steampunk in my life. So I went back for a second because I saw at the bottom 7 days until the end of your life, and I was just like, right, okay, that's a good sign. And I think that intrigued me because I was curious as to what that meant, because it was just right off the bat, you're going to die in 7 days. And yeah, pretty much. So I'm just testing like the options, turn the game down because my god, it's loud. It's one of those games where if you don't turn it down, you're going to be deafened.
Really?
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Does this game also have loud jaguar noises?
I was just looking at this in the character things. Little backstory for your character you play as. It's like 4 lines, so you know they put a lot of effort into it. It gives you like a little exposition at the beginning. So basically the story of this is like there's this big bad evil guy who's like apparently cannot die, so he does what any other immortal person could do and just become a tyrant, destroying everything. And because of that, obviously you get affected. And I thought this would be the start of the game for me, but no, it's just one long cinematic, and the graphics are, well, as you can see, they're not terrible. Like, that guy's design is okay, but it definitely looks not so great compared to many other games. The music's alright though. I like the music.
So you said this was a PS4 game?
Yeah, this came out for the PS4, but it also came out for the Vita and the Switch, so I think it was definitely made for like the
Yeah, I don't think this was
particularly.
This is not a PS4 like intended to be PS4 game.
This is a Vita game.
Okay.
This is a Vita game, 100%. Look at it.
I love that this character was so close to being like properly armored, but they had to make sure you could see the underwear. So
It's a Vita game.
The only place that isn't protected is like the thighs. So I assumed like, oh hey, so is that just like the beginning of me getting killed at the start, only to come back in some way? But yeah, I was confused for a second, and then like weirdly enough, even though he was dead, showed like an artwork on the dialogue part, and I didn't think it did it before on the other parts, so I was really confused about that. But after that happens, you learn that's basically the end of the game. So spoilers.
Whoa, game.
Yeah,
I want to play you first. Hold on.
Yeah. And then we got like a
briefly PS4 quality.
We got a 2-second animation cutscene, and then we get pushed into this, and this was the most uncomfortable part of the game because this was the only part of the game with no music, and I was like, what happened to the music? Because the music was okay for the time being. That's an enemy. He looks really funny, and he's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a game. But anyway, here I learned about the gameplay. I learned that my expectations were very different, and that I thought I'd have more range. You have to get really close to the enemies to attack in this one, which is fair. It's a little bit of a risk-reward kind of thing. But yeah, as you kill the enemies, they drop orbs that increase your magic and your health, which are the bars at the top. The top one, obviously, health. The one below is magicka, obviously. Then the one below is kind of like your special ability, which we find more about later. But yeah, it's really fucking uncomfortable watching this without the music, because I'm just like, oh, it's reminding me of a terrible fucking lack of music.
It is quite unsettling, actually.
This is the only part of our music.
Murdering these like fat, jaundiced Jawas.
It's just a dwarf with a fucking bag on his head.
There's a lot of crickets and owls and wildlife for what looks just like a desolate wasteland background.
I don't know if you saw that, but they've got one of the funniest walking animations I've ever seen in the game when they run towards you, because they run with their arms as if they were marching, and it's just really fast march. It's really funny.
So, you know how they say you are what you eat? That's what happens if you only eat potatoes.
Yes.
Oh, so you're Irish.
You're Irish.
No, you can't be racist.
Don't we, guys?
Be racist.
We can. We both did.
Don't we, guys?
I know.
Not only is the music back, but the enemies also look a little bit cooler in this part. And when I say that, I mean there's only one enemy. It's not even a knight. It's just a bunch of armor that kind of rebuilt itself. But yeah, the music came back and it's pretty okay. But yeah, one thing I'll say about this game that I didn't like in particular was that this game was really, really easy. Like, I went into this game expecting more of a challenge, but like, I thought it'd be like, oh, it's. But it sounds like, oh, you got 7 days left to live. Oh, you died at the beginning, you're gonna die again. No,
Ah, shit, there it is.
It's more difficult. Yeah, and right away, you're given the final boss. You're given the devil as the first like boss kind of thing. I was like, oh wow, already? Okay, is this kind of like a situation where you're meant to lose in this fight? So I kind of went in with that expectation. And then he fucked off, and he's just there. The thing about also again with the soundtrack,
directly into the screen.
yeah, the fourth wall has been broken. The music I think is okay. Like it's I like his design though.
It's profile in shadow while his entire model is on the screen.
Yeah, I know.
That's the point.
Second time they did it, and I don't know why they do it. Like at the very beginning, the first few times there was none, but for like everything afterwards, they did add the artwork, and it was just so weird. So yeah, this is kind of like a horde mode situation, I think it was, and you're kind of supposed to die to this guy in a minute, because I think I defeated him a bit quicker than I thought, and this guy just refused to come near me, so I had to go to him. The AI isn't very clever in this game, is what I learned in this part. And then the music's
Immediate cutting off of the music.
Immediate cut off of the
No,
music.
done. The devil is doing his work now.
Yeah, just straight away I died. And then this new random woman appeared who looks a bit like a fucking Rule 63 Griffith.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Dave.
Anyway, this is the part. This is the part that I really liked here, and that the concept of time travel was added to this game.
Evil Overlord, time powers. This is just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but with
The
swords.
mechanics are like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, actually.
That's the one. That's the game that was in my head this entire time, but I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, basically, what it's saying here is the sword you possess is basically like a sword that can do time travel. So basically, you can use that during fights to kind of rewind time and go forward in time, etc., to give yourself an advantage. And I think the example they gave here was like, you're about to die, so you just time travel back so he couldn't like attack you straight away. And you just give him a little bit more exposition about this character called Vernia. She's kind of just here to kind of explain how things work. And then we got like artwork for a cutscene, and like this was the first and only time I've seen it so far. And I want to be honest, I think this would have been better than just using the engine cutscenes, because I like the artwork in that part there.
And the game does not look nice.
It doesn't look
No.
nice. No.
There are a lot of games that I think would benefit a lot from just, rather than using in-engine stuff, just using artwork slides.
Yeah.
Those are
Those
just
games.
better.
Like that part there, I liked the art in that, but the graphics here was not great. It feels like the people making this game couldn't decide what art style they wanted to do, so they kind of did a bit of everything. Like, that is the biggest vibe I get from this game, which is kind of why I think there was a lot of potential, but it was wasted on, like, indecisiveness and, like, not really the resources to actually make them work.
I don't know why instead of using character art for these two, they just have like a weird snippet of the 3D model.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
like-
Their arms are like cut off and shit. Look at that.
Very
It's,
strange.
it's like a
It's so
screenshot.
weird.
It's a screenshot.
It is. Like, I would the Field of Despair, get that,
Did that look better on Vita?
Is
Did
that a
look
name
better
from
on-
something in Unworthy?
No,
It feels like that,
this
yeah.
I will say, I've
Yeah.
played a lot of Vita games. This is bad even by Vita standards,
Yeah,
honestly.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah. Like, video games can look really good. This is a really bad example.
This
Yeah,
is
this
what I
is-
would expect of a good PSP game.
Yeah. So yeah, I learned that I can't reach that, so I'm pretty sure there's another way to get through it. But
Some
I never found it.
Metroidvania.
Anyway, it is. It's like a Metroidvania game at this point. I'm like, okay, that I can get behind. But again, like when I play those games like Castlevania or Rogue Legacy or anything else similar to that, I expect a little bit of challenge. But the AI is so dumb. It's no challenge whatsoever. Maybe it gets harder as the game goes on. But from what I played, even the bosses aren't that hard. Anyway, this purple ball's a checkpoint, and it just looks really weird.
Is there an explanation what the purple ball is? Oh, maybe that's
No.
what that was?
No.
Nope.
Checkpoint.
All right.
Checkpoint.
It just is the checkpoint. Okay.
It's just the checkpoint.
Now, remember when there was a simpler time back when checkpoints were checkpoints?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's the purple checkpoint.
it's
The
just the ball.
bonfire's here.
That's just a meteor fragment that gives you more like mana, magic and stuff. And hey, we're back to this weird stuff again. Again, I'm guessing it's because of the restraints of like whatever engine they use. But couldn't you have just made it so like it kind of like zoomed in on the character model instead of just having the art thing right next to the actual
Just
model?
don't have the art.
Just don't have the art.
Just don't put the art there, Debs.
Don't put
The
the
models
art.
are there. You don't need to put them
Anyway,
zoomed in and
I got
cut, obviously.
I got fucked by a trap, but this is like a tutorial to how the fucking time thing is supposed to work. See, what you do is I was on the PS4, so you use the analog stick and you just kind of rotate it around backwards so it goes back in time, and then you can learn from the mistake. Also, I love that noise. But yeah, these again, there's really no challenge in these. But
Just smashing on through.
and this is I think this was the first kind of example of how you could use time travel for quote-unquote puzzles. Because basically, you have to smack the lever, not pull it, and you have to get on there, and you have to get up there. Oh, never mind, the puzzle comes later, I apologise.
I did that too.
Like,
It's fun.
yeah, there are puzzles eventually that are like, oh hey, you need to do this, this, and this. And yeah, this is yet another thing you could do in this game. which is this isn't a boss, by the way. This is a sub-boss. I'm guessing this is a boss.
Bionic.
Yeah, it's a bionicle.
Yeah.
No.
And guess what? Yeah. Not a challenge. This guy was really easy. In fact, I don't even know if I took any damage in this fight. Yeah, I took a tiny bit of damage, as you can see there. But like, this guy, it was not difficult. And like, I checked later, see if there's. Yeah. He doesn't do anything. It's just.
He's just kind of there, you know?
Why are you hitting me? That really hurts.
I give you oxygen.
Bro, not cool.
My
I
village
just
burned down.
wanted to be friends.
My village burned down, so now I must kill anything I find. Especially my character's arc. Yeah,
He's dead. You murdered him. All he was doing, he just wanted to be a plant, and you murdered him.
That poor guy.
No plants allowed here. So yeah, that was a.
I can tell from the background.
Are you responsible for this? Did you just kill all the plants and that's why you're in this?
Yeah.
Maybe you're the bad guy.
No, we have a fast forward.
I wasn't really paying attention to the plot, so
This
maybe.
is like a puzzle. Like if you didn't do the time travel thing there, it would stay in place and you couldn't get up. So you have to rewind time so it goes back up. So that was a neat little thing you could do for a quote-unquote puzzle. But yeah, like it just feels like they had so many ideas for this game, they just weren't able to fully accomplish them. And it feels like the puzzles were also part of that. But yeah, as it said right there, the boss is up and coming now. And, you can use the time travel to influence the battle. And it was this point where I just learned, wait, if I had time travel powers, I'm basically going to be cheating throughout this entire game. Time travel.
They just made save scumming part of the game.
And this is the first boss, Beladim's Archmage, and like, it's an okay character design. It's not Dark Souls.
Slaves.
You're enemy slaves. I am the Dark Cloud Spirit. So yeah, the battle begins, and this guy is meant to have like all these elements that he can use, and each one has a different attack. And you just travel back in time. You can kind of prevent his attacks. So he's just kind of standing there twirling around balls while you smack him, and then you just rewind time and that. Because like the health doesn't go back up as you
Someone
rewind
write that
time.
down.
Yeah.
He's
Standing
just
there,
standing around,
twirling around balls,
just
smacking
twirling his balls.
But yeah, look, like
Balls, bro.
it's not really, again, like there's no chance it's close because like it's easy to dodge the balls and you just whack him, and yeah. and
Oh no, it's Mr. Nuts all over
Yeah.
again.
And if he uses the ball you don't like, you just rewind time until he uses the one you do like.
Oh, DNF.
Yeah. Well, like, look at that. I took no damage, and he's already lost half his health. Like, there's no challenge.
The plant thing is gonna end up having done more damage to you by the end of the fight.
Yeah, like, and then we're back to this one. This one's like the easiest one, and all you have to do is rewind time, so he always picks it. Like, of course, time travel costs magicka, but as you can see, it slowly regains on its own. And even then, it doesn't take up as much magicka as it probably should. But yeah, what I just did there, my green bar filled up and that was my special attack, and as you can see, I just took away the rest of his health.
Damn.
He's gone.
And he's gone, he's just like one more hit and he's down.
That's the fight.
There
That's
he
the
goes.
fight.
No damage.
He's gone.
I took no damage.
That's the fight. That man and his balls are gone.
His balls are gone.
Impossible. That's
Your balls are
me.
You deballed him.
His balls have been busted.
Unball.
That guy is not Mr. Nuts.
Pizza made pizza.
And then she's back, and she's just like, "Hey, congratulations, you defended on foot." Yeah, I didn't take any damage. Did you think I was gonna die from that? So, yeah, and then
Hey,
she
what's
creates
up?
this-
Just killed an archmage. Protagonist here.
And then she just made a thing called the Eternal Gate, which is basically just, hey, here's a little hub for you to go to. Badoosh.
This is Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion.
Yeah, and now stage 1 cleared. Just, okay. Easy as hell. And that's grading as well. And I thought I'd do pretty well, because, you know, I took barely any damage, but I got a B, because I'm guessing time. But, like...
You control time. How did you get a B in time?
Exactly. I was confused. I like this place. I like this place. I think it's obvious why I like this place because, you know, clockwork cogs and
Gears.
steampunk shit. I love gears. Gears are cool. I like steampunk. I wanted more steampunk in this game, but I really didn't get any. It was just time.
It was the cogs of time, not the cogs of
Steampunk.
Yeah. I wanted airships, but instead I got weird Jawa people.
Win-win?
Yeah, win-win. And apparently, you learn here that the main enemy, basically, you know, Satan himself, as you saw earlier, he also has the ability to time travel. It seems, and he's used that to cheat death multiple times. Like that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Like the enemy you have to fight at the end of the game is like a time traveling boss who uses that to cheat death. That's cool. But
Imagine a PvP battle where both people are using save states. That would just never end.
Yeah.
There would be no conclusion to that
The
fight.
Elder Scrolls frame.
Man.
So yeah, 6 days until the end of March. So I assumed there were 7 levels, and I just finished one of them. So there were 6 levels left. I don't know if I'm going to do them though, because also there's a weird screenshot here. I thought this was a loading screen, but apparently that was a dream, and it's supposed to mean something, and I have no idea what it meant.
It was just a screenshot of something again.
Wait, you wasted 1/7 of your remaining life dreaming?
Oh, God. It was a dream of some person's chest. But anyway, I saved the game there, and I left there.
Goddamn, you Catman.
Honestly, I think like that summed up most of it. The combat was really simplistic. I learned later that you can unlock more and more combos, and I feel like that might make the combat a little more satisfying. But for the most part, like what I played, it was very simplistic and very easy. And I'm not a fan of that. I like a good challenge. But yeah, overall, like the sound design was a mess. The graphics were bad even for the Vita. The story was incomprehensible. The time travel idea was like interesting, but I feel like they just didn't know how to properly execute it. And overall, it was just a very mixed bag. In like some parts were good, other parts were just terrible. And what surprised me most about this game is apparently it's got a sequel. So, whoever, for the 4 or 5 people who played it.
Does that sequel also? Does that one also turn into a hentai game if you give it enough time?
Oh god!
Oh god!
You know what? I just want to say, I'm going to be real. All of the enemies in that game looked like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Almost every single boss.
Not only that, but you have just like you and the devil just have the Millennium items. He has the Millennium Rod, and you have the Millennium Sword.
Sword.
I don't think that was a thing.
It might as well have been.
All right.
Power.
But the big question is, how many Archmage's balls out of 5 would you give this?
I give it 2 days left to live out of 5 Archmage balls. I feel like
mix units.
You can't mix units. Stop that. It's not funny.
Stop being British. They won't let us live it down.
We use both a metric and imperial. I don't care what people think anymore.
Don't quickly the balls, Schizo. Right?
Well, okay, 2 balls out of 5.
All right, 2 balls out of 5. Very cool.
Yeah, it's like wasted potential. I think maybe the sequel's better. Apparently, like no one's played the sequel either, so I guess I might be able to play that next. Who knows?
Okay, 5D's Tag Force.
That is correct.
Last but by no means least.
Yeah. Up next is me with. Well, you see, I kind of did not realize we were going with a side-scrolly action game theme for this, so I've chosen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Tag Force for the Sony PSP.
Yeah, you're sticking to your personal theme, which is not a genre, but what would you call anime if not a genre? A personality flaw?
A personality flaw, yeah, there you go.
Weep shit.
A medium?
A medium. No, that'd be video game is the medium.
Yeah, but it's
a lifestyle?
It's a video game medium about that is focusing on the anime medium.
Shut up and play the card game.
I'm going to preface this with, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Tag Force, but I have played Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP. Which is
he has.
Similar but different game, and I'll get into my comparison of that near the end.
We know this has to be an old game because it was made by Konami and is not a pachinko machine.
Well,
God, I feel dirty.
it's fairly old.
I want to buy a Konami pachinko machine and just put it in my house.
That is absolutely
Right.
fair.
Don't encourage them.
Don't give
Konami
Konami money.
There's 4 of the 5 Ds.
Ah yes, the 5Ds, which, for reference of our viewers, stands for the 5 dragons. Which...
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Ah yes, those are the dragons' names. So, to get into it, the game starts off just kind of throwing you right in, introducing you to characters by, like, you going around the city that you're in, picking up random cards that have been dropped on the ground, and then there's just characters there talking to you like, hey, you're picking up cards. So it introduces all the main characters of the show. I can only assume that the cards were dropped in a very aggressive motorcycle duel.
Oh, this is the one with the motorcycle duel?
This is.
This is called
Oh, thank God.
You're going to be very disappointed to learn that there is no motorcycle dueling in this video game.
What the?
No!
whole point?
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the
Why
fucking
would
point?
You go 5
I'm
Ds.
so disappointed.
So
Might
yeah.
as well be doing GX.
So after it introduces all of the characters, it's going to throw you right into like this dorm room almost that you live in, and there's going to be a card on the floor, which immediately sets up the theme of like there's just going to be cards fucking everywhere on the ground, and yeah, that continues throughout the game. And so it just kind of throws you in. It doesn't explain anything. It has an in-game manual that's fucking paragraphs long that I didn't bother to read, so... it throws you in with like a starter water deck, which is actually pretty decent for combos. You're not going to see it in this because I made my own deck. But yeah, it throws you off. You leave your room and you're just thrown into the map to try and figure out what happens. I will say, there's like dots around that represent where all the main characters are if you want to go talk to them, but I did immediately realize this is just fully open world. There's no like main story to follow. There's no like main quest. You just go around talking to people, making friends, and dueling.
Making friends by dueling?
That's part of this. I'll get into the social stuff now before I get into the dueling itself and anything special. Oh man, yeah. One of the stupidest, most interesting social systems I've ever seen. They're basically
That's the tagline.
there's basically 4 different options you can choose when you're doing social, which is the first one is like just persons of interest, which they'll basically tell you where people are on the map, and it'll add more dots of where characters will be. But then we get into the last 3. Which, this is exactly how social situations work in real life, by the way. The first one is going to be, in fact, talk about them. So talking about them as a person, they'll say something random like, oh, I hate children. And then there will be a little thing that pops up at the top that says, you should scold them. And then there's going to be a list of words that have, like, lines between them. And just... like, there's going to be good, bad, evil, and very good. And you have to try and find the right combination of those words by, like, making paths between that. Then the choices will scroll down and kind of go along the paths you make. It's fucking weird. You'll see it in the video.
Do you combination lock emotions during a dialogue to get the right response? Is that it?
But it's something like that. You'll see it in a bit, I'm sure. I put it in after this
So it's
duel.
like Oblivion.
Oh, I hated the face thing in Oblivion.
So yeah, it'll have there will be basically, I found 4 different things you can find. There's the you should compliment them. They deserve a compliment, which is basically you need to put any variation of good and very good together. There's you need to make them laugh, which I found typically also good and very good. Just put those together. Then there's scold them, which I don't know what you're supposed to do. I've tried every combination of all of them and none of them work, except once where one of them worked, but I'd used that combination before, so I don't actually know how that one works. I don't know how you're supposed to scold them. The one time I did manage it, I put, I think, the first choice... Oh, there it is. You see, you make, like, bridges in between them, then it goes down the path. Like that.
Oh, it's that spider game thing.
Yeah. But the one time I did make the scolding one work, I did, like, good, bad, evil, so I don't know... Is that the exact combination? I don't know, because I've used that before and it didn't work, but... that's essentially the talking about them one. Then you can talk about duels, which, when you talk about duels, they'll say something about their dueling, and you're going to have...
That's how you get the chicks.
Yeah, that's how... No, actually, I forgot something with the last one. There's one more option out of the 4 that doesn't make any sense. That just says, this character's name should check this. And I don't know what check this means, but you have to choose very good for all of them, and then they'll blush and say something like flirty, and I'm concerned. Very concerned.
Hey, I think you're pretty cool. Check this.
Alright, moving right along. When you talk about dueling with them, they're gonna say like a random thing like, oh, I've been doing bad in duels recently, and you're going to have 3 options. You're going to have get angry, cry, and smile, and it's going to be I think the top is rock, the middle is scissors, and the bottom is paper. Like they have the symbols next to them, and you're just doing rock, paper, scissors, because after a while, right above their text box shows up a rock, paper, or scissors, and then you have to choose the right one.
None of those is the appropriate response to, I'm doing really badly right now. One, you get angry at them. Why do you suck so bad? The other is cry, and you're just adding more pressure onto them. And the last one is smile, like, oh, I'm glad you suck. None of those are the appropriate response.
You see, but those are the only 3 responses you can give when talking about duels, so you have to choose the best one, you know? Like, in that situation, you get angry. You get angry.
Make the best of a bad situation.
So yeah, and then there's the last social one, which is talk about cards, which the mini game for that is there's going to be a card on the left, and then they're going to ask you a question like, oh, what type is this? What's this card's name? And every time you do this, you're just gaining hearts with this person. To try and, like, get their social level up so you can, like, ask them to be your partner for duels, and then you go do tag duels with them. Hence the name, Tag Force.
Well, there you go.
You can also give them presents, which you buy from, like, a vending machine. For some reason, this vending machine gives you a random present. It can be anything from, like, a hamburger to a dual disc extension.
I already passed your card game trivia. Do I need to give you gifts now? Jesus, what more do I need to do to show my love?
Yeah, so that's kind of how it goes with the social stuff. Really weird, honestly. And once you get a partner, if you do social stuff with other people, you'll also get hearts with your partner, who's just like cheering you on from the side like, yeah, you go, be social with that person. So one of the weirdest social systems I've ever seen, but honestly fucking hilarious, so I didn't mind it all that much.
So, for those of us not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Past, the very first series, tell me about tag duels.
Tag duels, essentially, in the Tag Force series, you're going to have 2 players, you flip a coin, or rock, paper, scissors, decides who goes first. Then it's just going to be they take a turn, then the enemy team takes a turn, then you take a turn, and you're basically using all the same field and just like playing your cards. So you combo with your ally essentially. You don't have separate fields, you use the same field.
Neat.
One thing I will mention about tag duels in particular is the AI is fucking garbage. So, just keep that in mind. Know how the AI works and don't play things down that you don't want to be used yet. Because they will use them, even if it doesn't make any sense. So yeah. Speaking of duels, couple of things I want to talk about with duels. You can duel just about anyone who has a deck. The duels all have like animation for opponents and neat music that changes based on who's winning and how the duel's going. And winning duels will earn you money that you can use to get cards as you'd expect. And there's optional challenges for the duel, like deal 10,000 damage to an opponent, which will give you even more money. And when you win a duel, you get affection with the person. So yeah, you do social by dueling, essentially.
Right.
Wait, you get affection from them and they give you money? Man, that's the life right there.
Yeah, that is absolutely how that works.
Such is the life.
Let me pay you. I like you a lot.
Let me pay you. I like you a lot. And yeah,
Check this!
before we get into specific mechanics of how the dueling works, I would like to say there's, like, specifically mentioned in the manual, the one thing I saw, there's like a difficulty rating based on what kind of person the character is. So here's how the difficulty rating goes from easiest to hardest. First, the easiest, the game specifically mentions if you're not good at dueling, you should start with children. Children are the easiest. The second in this list is adults, who are a bit, still kind of easy, but a bit harder. Then you have students. Students are really good at dueling for some reason. And finally, you have security. So security guard's fucking amazing at dueling, as it turns out.
I've never worked
what else
a
do you have
security
to do?
job. It's extremely boring. That's all they do.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They play Yu-Gi-Oh! All day, every day. And so, as for this Yu-Gi-Oh! Takes place in 5D, so there's synchro summons and such. Not gonna get too much into the specific mechanics of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself, but I will talk about the things that happen in-game specific. Which there's two things that happen. One of them only happens in tag duels, but the first one is a destiny draw, which essentially you set a number of potential destiny draws as you make your deck, and when you're in a bad position, you can use a destiny draw. You get one of them to draw a random card from that list that you set up.
Trust in the heart of the cards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like the real main character, especially when you don't get the one that you're looking for. Just like,
really
oh,
makes me
yeah, I need this monster that requires 3 tributes and not my mirror force when I have nothing on the field. Very fun. And the second mechanic specific to this game is while you're in a tag duel, randomly your opponent, your partner rather, will be like, hey, synchro with me, and then you'll get to control them briefly, but all of their cards are like, you just see the backs of them and everything. So...
Check out was
How are you supposed to do?
When you hover over the backs of their cards, it does show you what it is, but there's a time limit on being synchroed, so you have to like decide what cards you want to use really quick without actually seeing all the cards at the same
You
time.
have a brief window to cheat.
Yes,
He's checking this. Look, he's checking this.
he's checking this. Oh shit.
It didn't work. You didn't
No.
successfully get
I didn't
Jack out
successfully
with
check
check.
this. This is the duel where I make them deck out, I think. This will be the last one then. So, other important info that might be of use is there's a password machine. Basically, any card that was out at this time, you can type in the serial number for it and it'll be added to a rental machine, which lets you rent one card at a time, which seems not like a lot. Very few card. Just you get one card from the rental machine, but it can be anyone, which is nice. Another thing to mention is how the shop works. You spend money to buy packs, but there's only a few at the start, but the more packs you buy, you unlock, and also the more friendship you have with different characters, you unlock character-specific packs. There's also some packs that I unlocked by accident that I don't know how I unlocked, like there was like a stalling pack specific, which I think might have just unlocked based on cards I got from like trap packs or something. So hard to say. But that's basically all you need to know about this game's like mechanics. As for the story, which isn't really there, but there is kind of stories in that once you have enough friendship with a character, you get like their personal side story, which seems interesting, I suppose. But again, the game's dialogue is pretty bad, so I wouldn't say you're playing this for the story. You'd want to play
In
it
a
for the
Yu-Gi-Oh
mechanics.
game? I
Yeah.
don't believe that.
I mean, no, I'm pretty sure it's just badly translated. Like, even worse than regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I think the check this was supposed to be something entirely different, I'm sure.
I'm not 100% sure of that.
That's all I have to talk about this game specifically, but in regards to how it relates to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP.
God.
Here we go.
There's a couple of differences that I think
Wait! We're off topic now.
No, I'm talking about it. There's a couple of differences I want to talk about between these two games because it kind of reveals the flaws with this game, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP, just a superior game, I will say it. But the main things that I will note is that the mechanics of how, like, the game actually works, how the story progresses, is much better in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP. Because in that one, it's like, it has a set deadline for when a big tournament happens, you kind of have a set goal, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you actually have a seeable time limit. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Tag Force, it's just kind of, it lets you go do whatever, but without giving you any direction and without giving you any feeling of, like, getting somewhere. You just kind of do things happen. And
You exist in the Yu-Gi-Oh! world.
As someone who has only ever played Forbidden Memories, which has nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh!, how closely do these games' rule sets match, like, the actual card game?
it would have been exactly the rule
Okay.
set. The exact rule set. I believe Forbidden Memories is like one of the few that isn't just the Yu-Gi-Oh! rules.
No, they didn't have rules for Forbidden Memories. It was just it was basically an RPG where you collect all your units.
So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Tag Force has a lot going for it with the weird social system that's kind of fun, but overall, it's just kind of bare bones. It doesn't really give you anything to do other than run around dueling people, which, if you want to run around dueling people, I guess you can play this game. I'd say it's fun for that.
Yeah.
How many Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP out of 5 Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSPs do you give Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Tag Force?
For the Sony PSP?
Is this for the PS? I wasn't sure if this was for, like, the Vita or something. I lost track.
Oh no, this is for the PSP, for sure,
Okay.
Now, that's a hard one to say. I'd say it's got its strengths. It's definitely an inferior version of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force formula, but it has its strengths. It's kind of... it's in a better era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it wasn't just play big thing and hit big thing. So I'd say... overall, the gameplay itself is probably more fun with, like, the Destiny draw and everything, too. But just the things surrounding it aren't good enough that I can rate it more than, like, 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP out of 5 Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force for the Sony PSP.
Alright. There you go, definitively the worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force for the PSP game.
I mean, there's more
So
of them,
far.
so I guess I'll have to
So
review
far.
those two
How
one
many
time.
are there?
That's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh games.
There's 2 GX ones, I think there's 2 5Ds one, and then there's an Arc V one.
I see.
A what?
Arc V, you know, that
Yu-Gi-Oh!
one.
V.
I have lost track of all of these series.
You know-
Yu-Gi-Oh! V.
Maybe you need to, like, actually try to pay attention to what the fuck's going on, you fucking failure.
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
No,
V,
I
the one
refuse.
with the guy with the green hair and the goggles. I know
Back in
this
my
one.
day, there was one Yu-Gi-Oh! And it had
And it was
Yugi in it,
Yugi?
and it made
Yeah, it was
sense.
Yugi. Yeah, Yugi
I
and
mean,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
it didn't, but
It
And it
didn't
made
make
more
No,
sense.
they
sense.
had Yu-Gi-Oh! In,
Did
you
it?
know, there was Yugi. There was
This
the
card game's on
girl.
motorcycles. Yes, it made more sense in the beginning.
Card games on motorcycles is a fantastic concept, and you can't deny that.
It's actually a problem because I know for a fact that the 5D's anime is probably the better one.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. That's everyone.
That is everyone.
I-
That's it.
all of us.
If we're going to say whose game is best, it's Sleeper's game, isn't it? Again.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yay!
Again.
All
I'm sorry,
right.
but Unworthy just it's a Souls game. I have a bias towards Souls games.
I
don't
will
know why
make
I
an
hate
effort.
those games.
I'll
I
make an
think
effort to
it's
find worse games for next time.
Yeah.
I'll make an effort to
Fuck
find better
you.
ones. Fuck
Play
you.
bad games.
We're here. I'm sitting here trying to like explain abuse and trying to like find the words to fill 16 minutes of abuse, and I like that game.
Abuse
And
looks
you-
good too.
And
Don't worry.
you come here with your cool game with its cool fancy
I
actual fucking gameplay mechanics.
George, you can't say
ruined
shit.
it.
I just talked about Yu-Gi-Oh for 18 minutes. Over top of
Yeah, that
Yu-Gi-Oh.
That
Bulls.
was your choice.
Yeah, abuse was your
That-
choice.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone would have something actually good.
Uh,
I just wanted to shill the game I liked, and I've been made a fool of.
all I'm
Abuse
saying-
was the highlight of my 1996.
And with that, everyone have a good day. That's it. We're leaving.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Recording.
All right.
Oh,
Welcome to the Abandonshare podcast, where unlike Game Grumps, we
No.
won't.
No, no, no,
Not again.
bad sleeper.
We feel like
Bionicle.